This is the fifth gate of Kammasaka Zen. This is the 10th and final talk in the fifth gate. And it's about the interconnection of the fifth gate of Kammasaka, known as equanimity. The fifth ox herding picture, taming the ox. The koan, the moon in the water, the image in the mirror. The third step on the Eightfold Path, known as right speech. And now also introducing into the mix is the first of the six perfections, the perfection known as generosity. Zen practice often weaves its teachings into an intricate web of interconnectedness, reflecting the fundamental unities of life. And it's within this particular framework of Kammasaka Zen, the fifth gate, equanimity, serves as milestone, a profound milestone on the spiritual journey. And it has a deep interconnection with the fifth ox herding picture, the taming of the ox. It has a deep interconnection with the koan, the moon in the water. It has a deep interconnection with the third step on the Eightfold Path, known as right speech. And now I also want to explain it has a deep interconnection with the first of the six perfections, the perfection of generosity. So together, these teachings illuminate a pathway towards harmony, balance, and the realization of non-duality. Equanimity, the first gate of Kammasaka, the fifth gate of Kammasaka, embodies a state of profound inner balance. It is the cultivated ability to remain undisturbed by life's fluctuations, neither clinging to pleasure nor recoiling from pain. But this state is not passive. It's not passive detachment, but it's an active embrace of life's complexities, but doing so with a state of clarity and grace. And the fifth ox herding picture, taming the ox, it represents a similar stage in Zen practice. As we've talked about in previous Dharma talks, the ox symbolises the mind, but now it's no longer wild and unruly, but now it begins to respond to the herder's guidance. And this picture illustrates the practitioner's growing ability to bring this unruly mind into an alignment with the way of Zen. The taming process is neither harsh nor forceful, but rather it's patient. It's a compassionate endeavour. So equanimity and the taming of the ox intersect in their shared emphasis on balance. To tame the ox is to cultivate equanimity, and this transforms the reactive impulse tendencies of the mind and brings it into a calm, responsive presence. And it's this transformation, it is essential for navigating the challenges of life and doing so with wisdom and compassion. The ox is not subdued by sheer willpower, but by the practitioner's attunement to its nature, mirroring the way equanimity arises, not through suppression of emotions, but through the understanding and through acceptance. And in the koan, the moon in the water, it deepens this exploration of equanimity. In Zen, the moon reflects in the water and serves as a metaphor for reality as it truly is. It's fluid and it's impermanent and inseparable from our perceptions. So, the reflection is not the moon itself, yet it is not separate from the moon. Similarly, the practitioner learns to perceive one's life's events without trying to grasp them like as they are fixed or permanent. So equanimity in this context, it's the capacity to see the reflection for what it is. A fleeting, beautiful image that simply points to deeper truth. And just as the moon remains unchanged, whether the water is still or rippling, the practitioner's inner peace remains steadfast amidst life's vicissitudes. The ox, now tamed, no longer struggles against its reflection in the water, but rather it accepts its nature with ease. So the koan aligns with the fifth ox herding picture in its emphasis on harmony between the self and the world. And as the ox herder learns to guide the ox gently, so does the practitioner learn to engage with life's reflections without attachments and without aversion. So in this way, the moon in the water invites us to approach reality with the equanimity of the still mind, seeing the world as it is, rather than seeing it through some sort of distorted lens of egoic grasping. And the Noble Eightfold Path, it offers practical guidance for living in harmony with the Dharma. And then right speech. Right speech. The third step. It emphasizes truthful, kind, and constructive communication. It is a practice that demands mindfulness. It demands restraint. And it has a deep sense of interconnectedness. And right speech, it directly supports the cultivation of equanimity. Because this speech is based in truth and compassion. It can create a ripple of harmony, both within and without. The ox herder, embodying equanimity, learns to communicate with the ox, not through harsh commands, but through gentle kindness, gentle guidance. Similarly, practitioners of right speech learn to express themselves in ways that nurture understanding and reduce conflict. The koan of the moon in the water. It also informs the practice of right speech. Just as the moon's reflection is an accurate yet impermanent image, so must our speech reflect truth without clinging to fixed narratives. The awareness of impermanence, it tempers speech with humility, reminding us that our words are not but on perspective in this ever-shifting reality. And equanimity serves as the foundation for right speech by fostering clarity and balance in our communications. And then when we are not swayed by emotional turbulence, then we are able to speak from a place of centeredness, aligning our words with the Dharma. And this alignment creates a feedback loop as truthful, compassionate speech, and it tends to further deepen the practitioner's equanimity. And then the first of the six perfections, the perfection of generosity, dana, emphasizes the selfless giving of material goods, selfless giving of time and understanding. So generosity is not an act, but a reflection of the interdependence of all beings. It is a direct expression of equanimity, for true generosity rises from a mind free of grasping and aversion. Now, the tamed ox is quiet, and in its quiet obedience becomes a symbol of generosity. Its labour benefits the herder, the community, and the land around. All benefit from the generosity of the labour of the ox. And this reflects the harmony that arises in a mind that is at peace. So the herder's efforts to tame the ox can also be seen as an act of generosity, a gift to the self and to all beings who will benefit from the herder's cultivated wisdom and compassion. The moon's reflection in the water also carries a lesson in generosity. The moon gives light freely, illuminating the night without discrimination. The water, in turn, reflects the moon without holding on to it. And in this mutual exchange mirrors the dynamic nature of generosity, which flows effortlessly when the giver and the receiver both recognise their interconnectedness. And then right speech intersects with the perfection of generosity as well in its emphasis on selfless communication. Words, when offered with kindness and sincerity, they become a gift that fosters understanding and connection. And the equanimity cultivated through taming the ox ensures that this gift is given without expectation of reward. And this embodies the true spirit of Dharma, generosity. So the fifth Gata Kamasaka Zen, the fifth ox herding picture, the koan, the moon in the water, having the right speech, and the perfection of generosity, they all converge in a shared focus on balance, non-duality, and interconnectedness. And it's together they offer a comprehensive framework for navigating the spiritual path. Equanimity is the thread that weaves these teachings together. It enables the practitioner to tame the ox with patience, to perceive the moon's reflection without clinging, to speak the truth fully and kindly, and to give generously without attachment. So each practice reinforces the other, and it creates a holistic approach to spiritual growth. The ox once tamed becomes a companion rather than a burden. Similarly, the mind once tamed becomes a source of insight and compassion. And then the moon, reflected in the water, reminds us that reality is both transient and luminous. And right speech and the perfection of generosity is based in equanimity, and it can guide us towards ethical and harmonious living. So, in conclusion, let's look further at this interconnection. So the interconnection of these teachings reveals the depth and the richness of Zen practice. The fifth gate, the fifth ox herding picture, the koan, the moon in the water, right speech, and the perfection of generosity. They each offer unique insights into the nature of the mind, into the path of awakening, and into the art of living harmoniously with others. Together, they illuminate a path that is both practical and profound. And it's by taming the ox that we cultivate equanimity, and by practicing right speech, we nurture understanding. By embracing the moon's reflection, we see the world as it is. And by giving generously, we honour the interconnectedness of all life. And then in this way, Zen invites us to live with balance, to live with compassion and an open heart. That is embodying the truth that the moon and its reflection are one. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I hope this fifth gate has been a benefit to you, and I look forward to seeing you in the sixth gate coming soon.